Hello everybody, it's Mel. Thank you for joining me today for the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 book tag. I don't know what it is for you guys when you're watching this, but for me it's Boxing Day 2025. Yesterday was Christmas Day and I put up I think it's called the Joy to the World Christmas tag. It has been my practice for the last few years to do 2 weeks of Bookmas, my version of Bookmas, from starting Christmas Day through till the 8th, I think, of January. So that is what I'm doing. So I'm hoping to get one up every single day. It depends how much filming I manage to do before the time comes up, and some of that will depend on when other things go out. But anyway, today I thought that I would do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 book tag. So this was something that was going around Instagram for a while and I always thought it looked quite interesting. I never did it because I just didn't. Don't have a particular reason, I just didn't. But I always thought it looked quite fun. By the way, my Instagram is below, should you ever wish to go and check that out. But I saw Chelsea from Chelsea Zhao do her version as a YouTube version. So I thought that I would do it today. I don't know that it's officially a tag, so I probably won't be tagging anyone. But if you'd like to do it and you would like to say that I tagged you or suggested it or you got inspired by me, whatever, please do so. I was inspired by Chelsea, like I said, and I will link her channel down below so you can go and subscribe to her. She's a fantastic person, great YouTuber, all of those things, so you should definitely go and subscribe. So this is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 challenge or tag, and the idea behind this is that you correspond to each number, so 5 of something, 4 of something, etc. You pick out bookish things and there are specific prompts for each number. So that's what we're going to do today. It is reasonably quick and short. I'm hoping that you will enjoy it, and yeah, that's the plan. So let's dive in. Okay, so first of all, we have 5 books I love. Now, I've talked about my favourite fantasy series recently. I've done a number of different tags and talked about my favourite books at different points in my YouTube life. So what I thought I would do today is a little bit different. I thought that I would talk about my 5 favourite books by Australian authors, just for something a little bit different, because although they sometimes make favourites of the year and that sort of thing, I don't necessarily talk about them all that often. So first of all, we have After Story by Larissa Behrendt. This is a contemporary story by an Australian Indigenous author, which is Larissa, and it is about a young woman who I think is at university or is just finished university studying literature. She's a young Indigenous woman. As a way to kind of reconnect with her mother or forge a bit more of a stronger connection, she decides to take her mum to the UK to go on a literary tour of the UK. So going to a bunch of different places that are connected to British authors that she loves, and they're more classic authors, so people like Charles Dickens, Jane Austen, the Brontes, and yeah, she decides to take her mum. Like I said, it's sort of a way to forge a new connection with her mum or reconnect with her mum, and then we follow her and her mum doesn't really understand why she's been brought along. Her mum isn't college educated, she hasn't studied any of these authors, she hasn't studied any of these books or read the books, so she doesn't really understand why. And there was quite a lot of stuff that happened in the past that has forged this disconnect between the two women and caused some trauma for them, and so it's sort of them trying to recover from that and, like I said, forge a new connection. And I really enjoy it. I've read it a couple of times now and I think it's fantastic, really well written, explores some of those concepts really well. Then we have Terra Nullius by Claire G. Coleman. This is another Australian Indigenous author, and Terra Nullius is a sci-fi and it is a story of colonisation. I'll just say that. I'm not going to say any more because I feel like it's one of those books that needs to be read to be really understood. I loved it. I've heard criticisms of it and I can understand why people maybe don't get as much out of it as I did, but I just thought it was fantastic. I love the reveal in the middle. I love what Claire's done with the story and the story of colonisation and the comparisons between what's going on in the story and what happened in Australia. And I just thought it was amazing and I loved it. Then we have the Interrogation of Ashala Wolf. It's a whole trilogy actually. So the Interrogation of Ashala Wolf, Disappearance of Ember Crow. I can't remember the third one. something Georgie Spider. This is a trilogy by Amberlynn Quay Molina, who I love her as an author. I love this trilogy. It is a young adult dystopian novel, and it is set in a world that seems to be Australia. It's very Australiana, if that makes sense, but it's not explicitly stated. It is about people who have like psychedelic, I was going to say, psychic type of powers, telekinesis and that sort of thing, and their powers are considered by the government to be not evil, but untrustworthy, and so they are outlawed. Those powers are outlawed, and those people are rounded up and put into concentration camps. And it's about this group of young people who have escaped from the society that are doing this and are living in the bush, and they call themselves the Tribe. And yeah, really, really interesting, really well done, and I really, really enjoyed the series. Then we have The Dry by Jane Harper. So this is the first book in a series as well. I did enjoy the other two also, which is Force of Nature and Exiles, but I like The Dry the best. So this is a mystery story. We follow a detective, Aaron Folks. Aaron is a detective for the federal police in Australia, and he covers financial crime, but he is called back basically to his hometown where he grew up because his best friend when he was in school has died, and his best friend is believed to and wasn't convicted because he killed himself, but everyone believes that he killed his wife and children and then killed himself, but his parents don't think so, and so they ask Aaron to get involved and to figure out what's going on, and it's that story, and it's fantastic. It then goes back in time, switches back in time to when Aaron was at high school with this best friend and a couple of girls, and some things that happened when they were in high school. So I think it's really great, really enjoyed the story. And then the final book that I have as my favourite Australian books by Australian authors is The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. So this is a book that is set in the Second World War in Germany, and we follow a young girl called Liesel, and Liesel is taken in by a foster family, and it's about her living in this German town and taken in by a foster family, and then secretly take in a Jew and keep him hidden in the basement, and it's about her relationship with him. And yeah, it's really, really good, really well written, and I highly recommend. I would call that probably more literary fiction, and I thought it was fantastic. Prompt number 2 is 4. So we have 4 auto-buy authors. So I don't necessarily have auto-buy authors, I have auto-read authors more, because I don't necessarily always rush off and buy the books, but there are some people who I will read whatever that they write, or as many things, maybe not everything, but certainly a lot of things that they write. My auto-buy or auto-read authors, my 4 that I've got here today, is Alex E. Harrow. So they wrote the 10,000 Doors of January, the Once and Future Witches, Starling House, and they've had one recently, The Everlasting, which I'm excited to get and to read. I have read all of those others that I just mentioned. Then we have R.F. Kuang. Now, I don't actually have, and I haven't actually read, the Poppy War Trilogy, but I'm going to, as you would have seen by now with my announcement video, for a read-along with myself, Steph from Coffee Over Apples, and Bethany from Beautifully Bookish Bethany. I will link my announcement video down below, along with the Discord, where you can go and get involved if you would like to read the Poppy War Trilogy with us. But I have read the other books that R.F. Kuang has written and thoroughly enjoyed them. I'm very excited to go back. So R.F. Kuang is definitely now an auto-buy author. V.E. Schwab, as of Addie LaRue and going forward. I don't know whether I want to go back and read some of her later stuff, because I have heard that they are quite different, and that people who love Addie LaRue and Burial Bones in the Midnight Soil and Gallant haven't necessarily loved some of her older series. But I definitely consider the stuff she's writing currently to be auto-buy reads for me. So I'm saying V.E. Schwab. And then finally, Amberlynn Quay Molina, who is the author of the trilogy, Ashala Wolf, etc. that I mentioned in 5 Australian books that I love. Because I've read that trilogy by her, and I have read another book, which is the first book in a series by her, fantasy series, and loved all of them. So definitely think that's an auto-buy author for me. Okay, then we have 3, and it says 3 favourite genres. So you obviously, I assume you obviously all know my top favourite genre, which is fantasy. I'm saying fantasy as an overarching genre, even though I know there's lots of subgenres, so I could go into subgenres and just stick to fantasy as the answer to this question. But I love pretty much most fantasy that I read. Haven't found a romantasy that I love yet, but I am reading the One Dark Window duet and I am enjoying that so far, so who knows. But definitely I've enjoyed a lot of books from the different subgenres of fantasy, so we're going to go with fantasy. Then I have historical fiction, which I haven't read much of recently, but I really do enjoy historical fiction when I pick them up. And then contemporary, just books about people living in this world, living in contemporary life and loving and, you know, experiencing life. I really enjoy those books a lot of the time as well. Okay, and then 2 is 2 places I love to read. So I love to read on my couch. And I love to go to a cafe and read. I really enjoy doing that. So those 2 are my favourite places. And then 1 book that I promise to read, and I did not grab this out, but I promised to read The Enchanted Greenhouse by Sarah Beth Durst, which I received from my friend Michelle yesterday when I'm filming, so actually about a week or so ago when you see this, for Christmas, which I'm very excited to read. So yeah, that is the book I promised to read soon. That's the tag or challenge, so that's everything that I wanted to talk to you about today. So if you would like to do the tag, and like I said, would like to say I tagged you or mention me as an inspiration or whatever, I would love that if you would do that. Please go subscribe to Chelsea and also my other co-host for the Poppy War read-along that I mentioned as well. And please go and check out my Discord and join us for the read-along. But yeah, please let me know any of the answers to this question if you would like to. If you'd like to leave me a comment but you don't know what, then leave me a number emoji because we're doing a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 challenge. And yeah, that's everything from me today. So thank you so much for joining me. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would absolutely love it if you would subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. And yeah, like I said, thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you next time.